Greetings. This is August 21st, 2025. It's afternoon, 5 p.m. in my hometown in southern Turkey, Mediterranean side. Anyway, that's besides the point. Today's actual topic is about a book that I recently read, which is called Blood Meridian, but by Cormac McCarthy. It was written in 1985. So it's been a while since I've been enjoying a book, and also actually, it's rarely hard for me to read a book, but in this case it was. So actually, I was reading some, and then I was actually listening to the audiobook while I do my things or play games, whatever. So I always do that. So consequently, actually, you finish the book, general book, like 2 times faster if you do that. Because even if you're when you're shitting or wiping your ass or something, or you're jerking off, whatever, you're actually listening to that audiobook. And yeah, but I couldn't do that. Like I was actually reading, and then I was playing like Victoria 3, and I was listening to like 2, 3 chapters, and I'm like, can you rewind that? I should rewind that. I didn't understand shit. What the fuck just happened? And even when I was reading, focused actually, I was tempted to read chapter summaries and analysis of every chapter that I read, and I wasn't skimming at all. I was just focused, no music, no voice, no sound, anything. I was just focusing on the book, and I gotta say it was really tough. But at the end, I think it was, yeah. I'm reading it for the second time, and uh, it's been amazing. It's been groundbreaking for me. It's been the most enjoyment I had since I actually reread the Three Body Problem series. Well, that's still one of my favorite books, and I love it more than this. But anyway, that's besides the point. So, what is Blood Meridian about? So, I don't know. For these past years, I never heard of this book until actually a couple weeks ago. I was skimming stuff on YouTube and like hanging around in my feed, and I saw a video, and it was talking about the most evil antagonists and the most evil characters in fiction overall. And one of them was Am from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, which is a great short story. And one of them was actually Judge Holden by in Blood Meridian. And they're always like, "This is the book you're not supposed to read. This is the greatest terrible book." Those there are videos like that. And they're always talking like, "Oh my god, I was gonna puke. I couldn't read the book. It was so hard for me. This guy's the most evil shit." And I'm like, "Is it really that evil?" I don't know. I didn't know because I didn't read it, and that actually forced me, inspired me to read. And I just mainly read the book because of the judge. But as I started reading, I was mesmerized and captured by this big, great fucking imagination of the author. And the guy actually wrote No Country for Old Men, which I really like. The Road I didn't watch, but I played The Last of Us. Anyway, he has a lot of good books, and he passed away, I think, recently, a couple years ago or last year. I don't know. Anyway, God bless his soul. So I started reading this book, and I was thinking like, no man, I watched Terrifier or something, or I mean, I watched a lot of disgusting, disturbing shit that people find really disturbing, and they seem to talk about like how hard is those things are watching for them. But it never bugged me that much. It never actually affected me that much. I don't know, in my like high school years and stuff, I've seen a lot of weird fucking shit on the internet. We all have, my generation basically, but especially males. Yeah, I started reading, and so to summarize it without giving that many spoilers, is Blood Meridian is, I think it passes in like 1848 or something like that, 1840 or 1848. It's just after the Mexican-American War in 1840s, and which I believe the Americans actually took Texas and California, some part of California, not Baja California, but anyway, today is like southern border, New Mexico and stuff. And after the war, actually, there were Mexican government and United States government had this mutual agreement. I don't know. I don't know much about this stuff. I just like looked at Wikipedia and stuff, and it seems like it's true. So apparently, government actually was funding people to bring Indian scalps to the local sheriff or something, whatever. So they would get like $50 or $10. I don't know the price. And in the book, actually, the chief's head is like $100 worth or something. And so I researched, and I don't know if that Glanton's gang stuff is really accurate in real life because, yeah, there are some cases. Some guy wrote a book about his uh, what happened uh, in the real life gang, and he talked about a guy like Judge Holden. Whatever, it's irrelevant. It's not important. We're here to talk about the judge and Blood Meridian. So after the war, actually, there is this Glanton gang. John Joel Glanton is the leader. There's a big bald guy, hairless. He's always fucking naked, all throughout the book. And yeah, this little kid, which character's name is the kid, we don't even know his name. He joins this gang, and he has this taste of violence since his childhood in Tennessee and in New Jersey, Texas, and we basically see this kid growing up. If you would ever call that, you can ever call that growing up, but him actually secretly, subconsciously exploring the meaning of life, searching for it, and basically meeting the judge. And the things they do in the Glanton gang is the violence, and I don't get disturbed, guys. I don't get disturbed that much. Like some couple stuff about kids in the books that disturbed me a lot. But other than that, like a man's head getting blown or getting squeezed by judge's hands, that doesn't affect me that much. Anyway, uh, even the kid is shocked at the amount of violence. The scalp hunters are really disgusting. They're like basically it's in such a level, especially the judge. Judge is basically the leader of the gang, but not real. Glanton is the technical leader, but Glanton actually follows Judge to the end anyway, because Judge holds a great amount of respect in everywhere. Although most of the characters in the book doesn't agree with him, they follow him nonetheless, and they actually respect his authority. The guy is 2 meters, more than 2 meters tall. He's bald, he's white, and he speaks Dutch, German, uh, a lot of languages that we don't know, which the book actually says he spoke. There's a paragraph and there's a sentence. It says like the judge and the man actually talked about the tongues that nobody knew or something like that. So he's an archaeologist. He writes everything. He sketches everything. The birds and different types of like human beings, like scarred people, people without legs, arms, whatever, that kind of stuff. And he actually gives so much information about certain things, not information, like statements that actually, even if I don't agree with some of them, it's so affecting, whatever, and impactful to you. It actually affects your core and the core in your soul. The things he says, the analogies he says about war, he's basically talking about the idea that war is God basically, and it's a dance, and you have to be more violent and violent because it's the basis of human nature. Look at every war, he says. It's not about like patriotism. It's not about anything. It's hell. It's not even about power. It's about war and violence because without violence, he says the human species couldn't have a chance or a right to exist because it's evolutionarily, he says. I mean, and he says basically God is right about everything and war is God. And the one thing that actually really affected me and still think about to stay all these weeks later. At one point, one guy actually asked the judge, like, why do you think there's so much cruelty in this world? Why do you think like children die, women get raped, and so on? These disgusting, horrible things. And he says actually, uh, God doesn't do anything about it. Wouldn't you think? Don't you think that if God would do something about this, He would have done already, thousands of years ago? So he has this idea of God, which as like an entity that's basically the base power of the universe, and which is actually feeding itself from war, violence, destruction, and power in some sense. And he's saying, what I think he's saying is, this is the only religion that man actually has, and subconsciously man follows. Because no matter whether you like you're Muslim, Jewish, or Christian, we all share some inner subconscious evolutionarily truths or something. And at the end of the day, like he says, it's just violence. And there are some couple cases in the book where the kid and some characters actually refuse to do that much violence against their own or whatever. And they're punished basically either morally, either like mentally, they're like abused, or they're shot dead, whatever. And so that's basically saying the Glanton gang doesn't care about moral ethics. Even the people, they're like brethren, their comrades who have fallen, when they die, they like even scalp them because uh, the usual human moral codes do not exist here in the Glanton gang. This is blood meridian, the peak of blood, whatever. This is their religion, and their first mentality is to kill and destroy everything. And why this is so interesting is, as disgusting as it sounds, sorry, I mean, the book actually leaves you, and I'm gonna stop with this, by the way. I want to keep it a bit short. Maybe I'll talk about it later. The book basically, in my view, actually leaves you with a feeling that you don't understand the book, but it's not like those like shitty French movies in Cannes festival or whatever, which like Gaspar Noé and stuff, which basically they don't tell anything. They're just trying to be cool and trying to be weird as fuck. But at the end, they're talking a lot, but they're not saying anything, basically, or they're trying to show a lot, but it's meaningless. But this book leaves you with a similar feeling in the sense that you don't understand shit that much, but in your inner core, especially those couple wisdom or statements by judge especially, uh, leaves you wondering and wants you wa makes you read the book again or actually explore it a bit more, and maybe perhaps in analysis and YouTube videos, video essays, whatever. Yeah, I will talk about Blood Meridian more because it affected me so much. It's actually the book that affected me a lot in a long, long while. This happens once in a long, long while, baby. And I hope you're doing well, and I highly recommend reading the book. But just know it's a hard read, both in you have to prepare yourself mentally. It's disturbing, it's violent, and it's so hard to read as like grammar or whatever. Anyway, guys, God bless you all. See ya.